Hello everyone, welcome to Weeb the People, a podcast dedicated to all things anime, from the perspectives of an advanced viewer, casual, and beginner. I'm your host, Daniel.
You freaking mortals. You mortals without your powers. My name is Malcolm. Welcome to the Uprising Brothers.
Hell yeah, brother. That Motep memes, brother.
Yeah, I'm Jake. I'm also.
And you're afraid, aren't you?
And I'm a little afraid.
You're a little
also a little
spooked?
scared. I'm a little spooked.
It's time
But
for
I
us
would
to rise against our oppressors, brother.
We do have nothing to lose but our chains, Malcolm. I do agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, I have the best friend in the world, and I got the best Christmas present anyone could ever ask for. Check this shit out. For those of you listening on the podcast, it's a mug with Appa on it, and the back says, "Sip sip." And I love it.
Pretty good.
That's actually really cool.
Pretty good.
Casey, you rock.
Hey, but that will not save you from the salvation that is coming to you and your people, brother. I apologize.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, kind of had it coming.
Well, as the bridge between worlds, in today's episode...
Sure, let's call it that. Yeah.
I'm the in-between. In today's episode, we'll be reviewing
You'll get your powers in the
discussing...
mail 2 weeks later. Part of the stimulus check. No big deal.
discussing Violet Evergarden, Eternity, and the Auto Memory Doll. If you have not watched the movie, then spoilers ahead. If Violet Evergarden is not to your liking, then our next broad discussion will be next week with our next watch in 2 weeks. If you guys have any suggestions whatsoever on what you would want us to see, discuss, or if you have like a topic y'all would want us to discuss about, let us know through any of our social medias or email us on our email. So with that, let's get a little bit to the background of Violet Evergarden. The last time we talked about Violet Evergarden was episode 39. So, wow. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
You just say, "It's been a while."
It's been a while. So yes. So once again, Violet Evergarden is a coming-of-age light novel series written by Kana Akatsuki and illustrated by Akiko Takase, with the anime series being animated by Kyoto Annie. And the movie, did I write that down? Oh no, I didn't write who directed it.
Well, Daniel's doing that. I'm going to give everyone some good news, and that they caught the he's pretty much a murderer, the arsonist who set fire to the Kyoto Annie studio.
Oh
so he's
my
being
gosh.
charged.
The threads are coming together.
Yeah,
yes.
And he's being charged as mentally capable, and he's not... I don't remember if he didn't regret it or something, but he was like, yeah, I did it.
Yeah, so I think they did that. They caught him maybe like last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah,
so that was
recent.
That was really good. And yes, so the
Guys,
director...
if we hadn't picked this show to watch, maybe they wouldn't have caught him.
We have zero connections to this, like we have no connections to the Zodiac murderer. Dylan, get down. They found us.
Put the lines.
Ted, is that you behind Malcolm? Ted.
I told you.
Yes, so the movie was directed by Haruka Fujita. So, yes. Let's see, where am I at?
I guess for the listeners who don't have any context of what we're talking about, when we filmed the first episode, Kyoto Annie, the studio that does the animation for Violet Evergarden, was burned to the ground, or one of their buildings were, and they lost a lot of film, and I think there were deaths involved too, right? Yeah.
Yep, there.
So really sad event, and they didn't know who the arsonist was. And Malcolm's smiling, so I feel like either there's a
no. That was my fault. That was my fault. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. All right,
like,
just
people died.
And think about the
yes.
deaths here.
It was a little somber, and Daniel's was like, "Yes, sir."
I'm sorry. It's just a habit now at this point. So I didn't mean to make fun of the fact.
Yes, sir. They did. Yes. So
I hate myself sometimes.
Okay. No. Yes. So they there were definitely people who were killed. The studio had to be shut down for a while, but they came back. They did really good work, and one of the productions that they had put together was Violet Evergarden. So now doing this review, they found the arsonist. That's really great news. I'm glad that they are going to bring someone to justice for that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, they have.
Yes, sir.
They put out a new movie in September of this year, which also got rave reviews, but it's not available in the US yet, so we're just gonna have to wait.
Just like Demon Slayer. Not
I
good.
know, kill me, this country.
Yep.
Man.
Going before we get too derailed, right? So then the story revolves around protagonist Violet Evergarden as she works as an auto memory doll and tries to live a normal life after her service in the military. So in this movie, the movie follows the events of the series, so it's canonical is the term, and it's split. In my opinion, it's like two parts or two movies within one movie.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
It definitely felt like two movies.
And it regards the pair of sisters Isabella York, or Amy Bartlett, and Taylor Bartlett. Just in case you all don't remember from episode 39 or didn't watch it, the light novel was the first entry ever to win the grand prize in the Kyoto Animation Awards, winning it during the 5th annual award ceremony in the novel category. So yeah, the series was really well done. If you haven't watched the series, check it out and then watch our show review about it, episode 39, Weeb the People, and then come back to us now in episode 103. So big jump, big different style, but yes, Malcolm, what's up?
While we're on the topic of setting, are they in an island-esque
Like
something
nation?
similar to France and or Germany? Because they keep hinting at like the Eiffel Tower will be built eventually.
Right? Something
And
European.
I'm like, huh?
I mean, it's more of a radio tower, Malcolm, as they kept saying in the movie.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
And the Parisians did not like it.
Oh,
They
that's
said it
true.
was ugly.
Mhm.
They said it was an abomination. Should be torn down.
Oh, God.
Okay, I was just confused as to which era they were in because they're like, this is an elevator. Let me crank it. And I'm like, where are we in the history of man?
Where would that be? Would that be like early night like 20th century, right?
Yeah, turn of the 20th century. Like, I think the 1910s
Something
probably
like that.
had elevators at that point.
Yeah, I didn't see any black people in the movie, so that sounds about right.
Hot
You know, black
take.
people black people didn't exist until
yeah.
after
No,
the civil
not
rights
allowed.
movement. Yeah.
Not allowed.
But
And that's
why we got
tonight's
today,
the
brother.
night.
Hey, I
Tonight's
watch
the
Mad
night.
Men. I watch Mad Men. They were
Oh
there.
God.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah,
Were
let's
they
jump over.
represented well? No.
Ah,
Before we get too derailed, let's jump over to the main topic. So, yeah, for me, the animation by KyoAni was on point. Like, holy moly, I think any scene, literally in the movie, you could pick out, and it's like an r/anime. Oh my god, love this scene in the movie, and it gets like 5,000 upvotes because it was just really well done. The backgrounds of the movie, of the scenery and stuff, and especially the characters' eyes, as always, are really well done. That's like their specialty. So that was incredibly well done, and the movie was just really beautiful and pretty to look at. So I think that was really cool, and I
For
liked
everyone wanting to know, 1850-ish was around the first elevator invented, and it was basically just a dude pulling on a rope. Not very
What
safe
pilot?
at all. Now,
Okay.
Daniel, back to the very important story that I interrupted.
It's like a good old pulley system. Let's see. I liked how they split up the movie into two different parts because they kept mentioning in the first part, Taylor's younger sister, or no, Amy's younger sister, Taylor, sorry. And it was like, oh, all about Amy, whatever. And that's fine. And I think the first part of the movie was a little slower than the second, and I liked how it built up the foundation for the second part of the movie. I think it's like, hey, this is what happens a little bit, and then the second part's like, no, this is like the real story. And I really liked that, and I liked the time skip. Everything felt natural within the movie. Nothing felt really forced, in my opinion, in terms of like pacing or all of a sudden like time skip. Everything felt natural.
Yeah.
It was like the conclusion was, okay, Amy finished her schooling over in the school in the boarding academy, and then it's like, okay, well, we're gonna be separated for now, Violet and Amy, but they'll still be friends, whatever. And then it like seamlessly goes into now Taylor's story. So I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Pacing was a big issue for me in the first, or in the show. Like, I think that was one of our biggest points about it was that, it's just kind of all over the place. There were really good arcs, but there were plenty of episodes where we were like, I don't know what that was for. I don't understand this. Like, pacing and structure. Didn't we say, I think it was this series we said it would have been better to end like 2 or 3 episodes early?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So obviously for the movie, they fixed some of those issues, or at least just wrote a really nice, tight, clean script where I felt they told the story they wanted to, and they didn't add anything else.
Yeah, I think
Now,
it was
I
very
do need-
concise. Sorry, go.
I do need to ask you two, have you two seen the movie Princess Diaries starring the Anne Hathaway?
Yes.
Oh, Anne Hathaway's? Yeah.
Oh, the Anne Hathaway's? Yeah, this was pretty much, the first half was just Princess Diaries, the movie, the anime,
I was gonna make a
presented
joke
by
about,
Kyoto.
yeah, her being kind of groomed for a position of a princess, and was it Genovia?
Genovia, yes.
See, I remember.
There you go.
I was gonna say Geneva. Geneva could.
I was gonna say Geneva, and then I waited. I was like, "That's a real thing."
Yeah.
Remember
Not that.
all of the horrible war crimes that Anne Hathaway's did?
Wow.
Well, now she's
That was
responsible
terrible.
for all the cleanup. So.
And that's why we launched her into space for gravity. That's what she gets.
Oh my
Love
gosh.
transcends the universe and time.
And so, going on with that, the very concise story, I really liked the new characters, Amy and Taylor. I feel like they added a lot to the story, and it wasn't like they were just forcibly added to add, like, oh, some more plot points or whatever. I think it was very seamlessly done, and I liked how, we already know Violet's story up until this point. We've already seen the show, we know all about her, so she does a more of like a supportive role, and at least in my opinion, I think she does a more supportive role where we get to see instead Taylor and Amy grow as characters and see what their dreams and their resolve is, as opposed to Violet. We already know that, but it's still nice to see Violet and showing the effort that she's put in from the series. Now we get to see the fruit of that labor here in the movie.
She was almost non-existent for the second half of the movie.
Right. Yeah. So the second half, she was there most of the time with Taylor when they were doing the mail stuff. Okay, that's like a weird thing. So she always calls Benedict like the teacher or whatever, sensei, and then it's like, oh, but he never actually goes and does any of the mail routes with her. So he's not really teaching her anything. It's
And he
always
did it one time.
yeah, it's always Violet who does that. So, but yes, I still think I liked the decision to have Violet do like a more step back thing, whereas we could focus more on these new characters. And I think in the main series there was so many characters to talk about and mention, but there was only so few episodes that each character didn't have justice, and I think Benedict was one of those. And while yes, he didn't get like a lot of screen time in the second part, right? He still got I think an adequate amount of time, and we actually got to see some of his dialogue and like how he would respond in situations and stuff, and I really liked that. So I think that was well done.
Another thing we got to saw was that, I'm trying not to curse, that drip, son, that mouth water and drip. That outfit
heels?
with the heels and the cuts in the back. I was like, okay. Oh, Benedict Blue, last name Color.
Let's see. So yeah, like Jake mentioned, I think the movie did not have as many slow points as the series did. Because yeah, that was a very much when I was watching the series, the reports were all like, "Oh my god, it's just gonna finish," whatever. And I look at my watch, whatever. Whereas the movie, I was like, "Oh no, it's about to finish," and I thought it was really well done, and I feel like the time just flew by as I was watching this movie. So I really enjoyed that. This is more of a personal thing, but I don't know if it was because the first part was a little slower in my opinion, but I enjoyed the second part of the movie more. I don't know if you guys share that same sentiment, or if you like the first part more than the second, or.
Yeah, I think both of them had their kind of pause moments in the arc. I think the schooling where like she's picking up all the classes and learning was a little bit slow, and then the second part was kind of all the shenanigans of her learning like the mail service. I think it's just a personal opinion that I don't like montages, but I think they're totally valid, and there's plenty of good reasons why people use them. So I think those are the only times I felt, it wasn't as interesting for me. But no, I think the second half was better too, because that was where she was like expressing the feelings of the letter and really trying to like relay back to the older sister what that actually meant to her. So I thought that it was all very nice. I think the conclusion was good.
And you, Malcolm?
I think overall, I would say I kind of like the first part better. Maybe it's because I haven't interacted with another human being since like July, person to person. But like, just the idea. I think the first half was crucial in order for you to start feeling feelings towards Amy and Isabel York, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And I like Princess Diaries, so obviously that part, the whole debutante atmosphere and having to learn like how to be a proper woman and being coming out to society as a noble woman. It's just so extra and unnecessary, and just like seeing how people interpret that process is always a lot of fun. But I
I
do
like how
want
she was like, "Oh, you need to use the other fork," and she's like, "Fight me."
Me, gripe, fork.
Hey, if it picks something up, I'm gonna stab food with it. You know?
Yes,
That's
sir.
what I would
Yes,
do.
sir.
Yeah, sir. A little Malcolm pro tip from a person who had one fancy meal once. He always worked from the outside in when it comes to utensil use. But I did want to go to the time skip, which was so flawless that I wasn't sure how long the movie was. But I had a very, very bad feeling about Taylor because she looked like she was at the farm used in Promised Neverland.
Yeah.
I was so concerned.
Season
like
2 incoming,
Taylor's
by the way.
dead. She's never coming back. I don't know how we're gonna break that to Amy, but it turned out to be a good movie all the way through. So good on you, Kyo.
So
Don't scare me like that.
How old was Taylor in the first part? She was young, right? She must have been like 3 or 4.
3. She was 3.
Okay. So wow, she made that entire journey in the second part when she was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, and the level of like language comprehension that she gets within 3 years to say all the sentences that she did is
pretty
insane.
impressive.
Yeah. I gotta get
she still can't read. Like, that is impressive to pick up on all of that.
He's like, oh yes, I can blah 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 blah. 1 6.
God damn. Rinse repeat, boys. The last thing that I want to bring up, this once again, it's a personal gripe of mine, and nothing that it's like an actual fault with the movie, is the fact that at the very end of the movie, Taylor does some weird BS thing where she's like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to meet up with Amy, my sister, who I love so dearly after all these years, because I want to prove to her that I'm a mail carrier when I'm an adult." Blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, she's like right there, 20 feet in front of you. Just fucking go say hi. And I was like, oh my! I was waiting for like a tearjerk moment of them seeing each other, and right before like they hug or something, then it cuts to black. That's what I was expecting. I wanted to cry at the end, and I didn't. So
that's all. Like something like how orphans don't necessarily want to see their birth parents, or like the birth parent doesn't necessarily want to see the orphan. They want to let them know that they're present in their life, but they haven't been around long enough to like genuinely show that they care, but they just want to be there, you know, like a nice magnet on your fridge
showing your report from grade school.
The challenge I'll give you to that one, Malcolm, is that they absolutely lived together and grew up together in poverty.
True, but she has no memories of it, which is why she has to say
the little
Amy.
Girl?
Taylor has no memories of it.
She was saying that
Amy to...
Yeah, she was saying that literally, as I grow older, I have no memories of Taylor or Amy. Sorry, and
right, because she changed her name.
Well, no, it's because she was so little. She was only 3 when they first met. So
yeah, dog, I can't even remember kindergarten. So.
Dude, I don't remember college. Like, GG, well played.
Yeah, Daniel, we've been meaning to talk to you about this. This is an intervention, by the way.
It's pretty bad.
Wake up, Daniel. You're still dreaming.
You
missed the exam.
Welcome to Cyberpunk.
Wake up, Samurai. There's still glitches in the system. That fucking game.
But I agree with you. I think that was kind of a weird cop out, and it would have been a really impactful emotional moment for them to like reunite and talk again. I also think they missed an opportunity to like really, I guess, embellish or discuss the fact that who's the older girl?
Amy.
All right. So discuss that Amy Bartlett is the bastard daughter of Jed Bartlett from the West Wing. That would have been a really cool twist moment that
as she looked into the camera.
They kind of missed out on.
Yeah, I agree.
I couldn't take her name seriously because it just reminded me too much of Amy Cohen Barrett, and I'm like, whoa, that's unfortunate.
Yikes.
You did a real political goof. I did a fake one. What are we doing here?
Anything you boys want to add? Because that's basically all I wanted to talk about.
Daniel's like, get me out of here.
Get me out of this hell.
Yeah, I think that pretty much nailed it. It was a very simple story, but it was very heartfelt. I liked the story. Clean. Yeah.
I think if the USPS system wants to rebrand themselves and do a good marketing ploy, they should use the phrase that Taylor came up with, which is mail carriers deliver happiness. Run with it, take it. Don't even credit KyoAni.
It was free.
Yeah,
This is a
free real estate.
There you go.
So yeah, conclusion therefore. Rewatch, recommend to another person, final score. So rewatch, I think movies are kind of hard to rewatch, especially if it's like a sequel to a series. I think this movie, I don't think it's a rewatchable movie. I think you just watch it, you enjoy it, cool, and you move on. Maybe in the future I'd rewatch. I highly doubt rewatch it. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Recommend to another person. Yeah, if they enjoyed Violet Evergarden the series, I would do. Hey, this is even better. Go check it out. You'll enjoy it more. Final score. Literally, I typed in 9 out of 10 because I was just like, let me see if there's any fault with the movie after discussing it with Jake and Malcolm. And honestly, I can't find any fault with the movie. There was not a single part where I was like, damn, that was not a personal opinion which I wish they had changed for my own sake, but like a fault with the actual movie in production or anything like that. So honestly, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. I think it was a really perfectly well done movie. I think it told a story, introduced characters, wrapped up the characters, told the story it wanted to, done. And very well done. So 10 out of 10 for me. Boom.
Cool. I think I will agree with you. I probably won't watch it again, but I am going to challenge you on the fact that you can definitely watch movies over again. I've seen the Big Lebowski way too many times to count.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm just saying because it was like it's an anime sequel movie series.
To a TV show. Yeah, it's not.
So that's like
it's
the
not
movies.
the same.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. So yeah, I won't watch it again. I would recommend it to another person. I think it's it's almost like a slice of life at that point. Like, I think it's just a good story. It's good and heartfelt. Malcolm, why are you looking at me like that?
It's like a slice of life. What would it not? What?
I guess Violet Evergarden was a slice of life, but also it was a war movie or a war show. It's weird because this
the series, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the series was not slice of life.
Gotcha.
It was kind of. It was more of a drama.
Well,
it was like a
journey. Got
journey.
sliced off if you're telling from being a little serious.
Yeah. So I probably wouldn't watch it again. I would recommend it though. It was a great movie. I'm gonna say the only production point that I will mark off because I watched the dub was Taylor's voice, and the dub was a little bit like just like over the top. That's the little girl, right, Taylor?
Amy. Oh, Taylor. Sorry, Taylor. You're right. You got him.
Taylor. So yeah, Taylor's voice in the second half of the movie, I found it to be
like grating.
It was very grating. Like it was just they were trying to go for like cute kid, but it was like, third day of babysitting the cute kid, and you just hate their voice. That was what I was experiencing. So, again, one small twist. I'm sure if I watched the subtitled one, it'd be fine. 9 out of 10.
I think Jake just hates children.
Maybe
that's probably it.
I mean, I'll say it out loud. If you're not above the age of 13, I probably don't want you anywhere near me. Yeah, we can go to skate park, maybe, and do some sick ollies or something like that.
Kick flips.
Ollies.
Do you have tech decks?
Oh, don't not get me started on that. When I rewatch this movie, yes, I think this would be like one of those, like, maybe coincidentally it is Christmas time and I could probably associate this as a holiday movie, but it's like something you watch with the family, feel good, have a good time, Would I recommend this to another person? Yes, and I don't think you need to watch Violet Evergarden the series to watch this movie, so as a standalone film, just toss it in someone's lap and tell them to buy a box of Kleenex. That'll be good. And for a final score, I've been leaning between 8.5 and a 9, and I think I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
1,000. This movie blows.
This movie fucking sucks, bro. What's your only docking point then?
Malcolm cried, and it challenges masculinity. That's why he's giving it such a low score.
See, if I give it a 10 out of 10, I think I have seen enough rom-coms, enough romantic-esque slice of life movies that I know the formula, and this follows the formula very well, and it does everything Hallmark wishes it could do. But there's always some. If I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10, this would be the highest rated thing that I've ever given it. And I don't think this is like the pinnacle movie of like my entire anime watching career thus far. So I'm going to temper it with a 9. It's good.
That's fair. I guess it's how you score things. I guess like if I was to rate something my personal favorite of all time, I'd rank it at 11 out of 10. But like my grading system's like 10 out of 10 is from an objective point of view. I'm like, okay, I think that's like a very well done movie.
Yeah, your rating system isn't approved by, every law of physics.
Well, you know what? You know what? I'm not going to use a curse word because we're going to try to limit the amount of curse words we use on this podcast.
Frick you, Malcolm.
But forget you, Malcolm.
Y'all are just scared because I got the powers of the winter solstice for my melanin brothers. Rise, brothers. I will meet you outside the Wendy's at 9 o'clock. I've got Frosty's coupons.
Good.
No, you don't. You're lactose intolerant.
Liar.
Liar.
Lactose tolerant.
Trust me, I bought 120 pills last Friday, unironically. So I'm.
Oh, you're good to go.
I took my lactase today. I'm good to go.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for our review of Violet Evergarden, the Eternity and Auto Memory doll. So with that, we would like to thank Joachim Karud for the use of music in our podcast. The intro is Dreams and the outro is Lowrider. Links to his contact info will be in our show notes. If you enjoyed listening to us, please make sure to rate us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If video format is more of your thing, then please make sure to check out our YouTube channel, Weeb the People Podcast. Check out our website, weebthepeople.com. Make sure to follow our Twitter handle at Weeb_the_people. Facebook page, Weeb the People, and Anime Podcast. And finally, our Instagram, Weeb the People Podcast. And if you guys have any questions whatsoever, either DM us on any of those social medias or email us at weebthepeoplepodcast@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm your host, Daniel.
Coronavirus vaccine actually has a serum to enhance your powers, so please go get that vaccine, everybody. My name's Malcolm Hamilton. I will ascend to the 4th dimension tomorrow. This will be my last episode.
All of the MLMs are getting on the vaccine bandwagon. There will be essential oil versions of this, microdosed, but you do have to still inject it in your arm and go to the doctor to get it. My name is Jake.
This has been Weeb the People, and have a great evening.